So it seems like Uncle Trump has done it, ladies and gentlemen. And he talked about this on Thanksgiving, where he said, even as we have progressed technologically, immigration policy has eroded those gains and living conditions for many. I will permanently pause migration from all third world countries to allow the U.S. system to fully recover, terminate all the millions of Biden illegal admissions, including those signed by Sleepy Joe Biden's auto pen, and remove anyone who is not a net asset to the United States or is incapable of loving our country, end all federal benefits and subsidies to non-citizens of our country, denaturalize migrants who undermine domestic tranquility, and deport any foreign national who is a public charge, security risk, or non-compatible with Western civilization. These goals will be pursued with the aim of achieving a major reduction in illegal disruptive population, including those admitted through an unauthorized and illegal auto pen approval process. Only reverse migration can fully cure the situation. Other than that, happy Thanksgiving to all, except those that hate, steal, murder, and destroy everything that America stands for. You won't be here for long. I just wanted to read that back because it seems that Uncle Trump is actually living up to his statement there. Yeah, great news. Check it out.
Administration now pausing all immigration applications from 19 countries it determined to be high risk. This comes in the wake of the Washington, D.C. shooting of 2 National Guards members, allegedly by an Afghan national.
And according to reports, the administration may not be done with this list, possibly growing to 30 countries. Former DHS Deputy Assistant Secretary Jonathan Fahey joins us now to discuss. And in addition to that line on your resume, you are also a U.S. attorney. You are also general counsel to the White House Office of National Drug Control Policy. So, Jonathan, is this move on solid legal footing? Will it survive what is expected to be legal pushback from the left?
Yes, this will survive, and it's already been tested in the Supreme Court in, I believe it was 2017 or 2018, the case Trump versus Hawaii with the so-called Muslim ban. But basically, Donald Trump has the authority to ban immigration from places that he determines, remember, not a court, he determines are detrimental to the interests of the United States. And in these cases, we have it for 2 reasons. One, are these people going to be properly vetted to the degree we can be certain that we will not be at danger? And these countries, they calling them third world countries or calling whatever, it's not possible to meaningfully vet people. And Donald Trump's highest priority is national security, American public safety, and also the overall interests of the health and well-being of American citizens. So this will be upheld. It will be challenged like everything else. But we have Supreme Court precedent on something very similar, only a handful of years away. So yes, it will be upheld.
Here is Secretary of State Marco Rubio on this issue of vetting last night on Hannity. Watch this.
You can vet what people have done in the past. You can't bet what people might do in the future. There's another dynamic at play here, and that is you could allow someone into our country who has no history of radicalization. Perhaps they even have worked with you in the past, but they are susceptible to radicalization once they enter the United States because they don't assimilate well, because they fall victim to some of this online propaganda and efforts to radicalize people. And 2 or 3 years later, you find that they have radicalized. That is a threat. That is a real threat.
And that is the theory, according to Kristi Noem Pam Bondi, that the suspected National Guards member shooter was radicalized after entering the United States. So with that in mind, is there something that can be done that isn't being done right now when it comes to re-vetting people who are already in this country?
It would seem like the way you would re-vet these people is have serious interviews, look at social media history and other types of things to see what they're looking at, what they're concerned about, who they're associating with. Those would be things that could be quite helpful. Again, you don't always know, which sort of goes back to the initial question. If you can't vet somebody with a high degree of confidence, the default should have been you don't get brought in. Under the Biden administration, the default was always in favor of the immigrant, the illegal immigrant.
Because they wanted more power and control. That's all they wanted. Hey, import the third world, import all these folks. We'll give them free housing, free food, free this, free that. and we'll make sure that they're able to vote so then they can vote for us so that we can stay in power in perpetuity. That was the whole plan. That was the whole plan. But thankfully, we stopped that plan dead in its tracks, and now Trump is having to clean up this whole mess, and it is a complete mess because of what the Biden administration and Kamala Harris administration did. He's got a huge task on his hands, but he's doing a great job so far.
At the expense of the U.S. citizens' safety and well-being. But yeah, so many of these people, there's no way to vet people from Afghanistan. You don't get to call the local the local Taliban office to see if somebody has the all clear. And remember, some of these people, they're saying they helped the United States over there, which is true, but they were also getting paid to do so. So I think people sort of attribute better motives to all of these people that might be appropriate for all the people brought in.
Good point.
Obviously, this has been brought up to the fore in recent days because of the horrific shooting of those two D.C. National Guard members. The suspect in that shooting pleading not guilty, as court documents reveal. He shouted "Allahu Akbar" during the shooting. I look at this and I say, even though the judge during this hearing basically used the phrase, the DOJ's case is exceedingly strong, I see no chance that the DOJ can plead this out. They have to go to trial almost to send a message to anybody else out there who's thinking of committing a horrific act like this. Do you agree with me, Jonathan?
I agree. Absolutely. They should not take any plea that's short of him pleading to something that's eligible for the death penalty, but in the federal system, the jury is who orders the death penalty, so it has to go to the trial. They have to seek the death penalty and put it up to the jury because it will send the message to everyone else that we will seek the highest possible charges and highest possible penalty.
Absolutely. Death penalty should be mandatory. Right? And it should be a slow death penalty, a painful one. Not one where you just, get to go out peacefully. Painful. Now, I want to get into a little bit more as it regards to this because we have a little bit of polling, okay? And I want to show you guys this because, of course, mainstream media will try to convince you that most people want to allow anybody and everybody into this country, but that's not the case. Actually, most people are in favor of what Trump is actually doing in terms of banning a lot of these folks from coming into this country. Breaking. Americans support President Trump's third world immigration ban by a stunning plus 21. This is huge. The people want Trump and Republicans to dig in on anti-immigration stance. Here it is right here on your screen. Bam. Bam. Now, considering, right, because we always have to consider this, consider the fact that we have a mainstream media that is constantly peddling Democrat talking points, and whatever Trump does or says, they try to deem it as this horrible, terrible, no good, very bad thing, and it's the worst thing ever. And yet still, people are in favor of what the Trump administration is doing. Ain't that beautiful? That number would be even higher if we didn't have a mainstream media that was the way that it is. Because whether we like it or not, mainstream media still does have a little bit of power. It doesn't have the power that it once had. And I think we proved that in this past election, right? Because it was constant 24/7, Trump bad, Trump bad, Trump bad, Trump bad, right? And yet we still won and gave him every single swing state and gave him the popular vote and gave him the House and gave him the Senate, right? So I think we proved that it doesn't have the power that it once had, but it still does have power to convince people. So the number would be higher if we actually had actual news, not propagandists on our television screens. Just saying. I'm just saying. That number would be higher. Now, I want to play this clip from Caroline Leavitt because she dives into this a little bit more. Check it out.
I would add that the Trump administration has done more to limit migration, both illegal and legal, than any administration in history. And I'll just walk you through some of the actions that we have taken thus far. Number one, the Trump administration issued a travel ban for 19 countries, including Afghanistan, special immigrant visas, which is a legal pathway to get here, which we know many Afghans have utilized to come into the country, have now been paused since the tragic shooting last week. Refugee admissions were suspended for Afghans from this administration on day one, and refugee admissions into the country right now are essentially at zero, with the exception of Afrikaners fleeing persecution in South Africa. The State Department has also heightened their scrutiny and vetting of all visas and have revoked visas, as you know, for those who do not align with our country's national interests. The Secretary of State has the right to do that, and we've taken unprecedented action to do just that. We are also now pausing all asylum adjudications for additional vetting as well. And so additional actions I don't have to read out for you today, but I would just remark that the president has made tremendous progress on this front. And it's why it's so crucial that we not only secure the borders, which the president did in record time. We have zero illegal aliens entering into the country month after month, but we also are taking a look at those who are already in the interior of our country and removing them if they are here illegally, and also taking a look at these visas. Again, having a visa in the United States is not a right, it is a privilege. And the Secretary of State, if you are deemed contrary to our country's foreign national interests, has the right to revoke that privilege.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Sounds good to me. Sounds good to me. So, all in all, the Trump administration is basically attempting everything that they could possibly do to live up to Trump's promise. Now, there could be some more that could be done, but that would have to be done through Congress, and we all know how that goes, right? While Mike Johnson isn't the worst, he's darn sure not the best. I would like to see somebody else as Speaker of the House personally. And then, you know, you all know how I feel about John Thune, the Republican Senate Majority Leader. He's absolutely trash, garbage, trash. Okay, that guy is horrible, absolutely horrendous. But it's what we got to work with, and until. Right, we could vote him out. I don't know when he's up for re-election. I'll have to take a look at that. And listen, when it's time, you could bet your bottom dollar I'm making some videos on John Thune's behind and anybody that is running against him, because please get John Thune up out of there. But as always, thanks for tuning in. Y'all stay safe out there. Peace and love. I'm out.